Joining me now to discuss Executive Director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies and former U.S. Treasury terror finance analyst, Jonathan Schanzer. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is what President Trump said this week about retaliation on ISIS before those strikes.
This had nothing to do with the Syrian government. This had to do with ISIS.
What will the U.S. response be?
As a response, they'll be hit hard.
Do you think that this strike weakened ISIS in Syria, and could more strikes be coming?
Well, look, I think we got a couple of problems here. Number one is a resurgence of ISIS, and it's not just in Syria, it's around the world. I mean, that attack in Sydney just a few days ago was ISIS. We've broken up plots here in the United States. So we've got a broader problem of ISIS and its resurgence. Then inside Syria, you've got a separate problem, which is that the government under Ahmed al-Shara, the new president, who's been in power for about a year, he pretty much only controls the capital of Syria, Damascus. Everything outside of Damascus is kind of just no man's land right now, and that's allowing groups like ISIS to gain control and to be able to perpetrate that violence. I think we're doing the government of Syria a favor by taking out dozens of ISIS targets. We're probably helping to restore some order, but I would say that the threat remains both in Syria and elsewhere around the world.
So are U.S. forces in Syria right now and the Mideast in general facing a heightened threat environment following these strikes? Do they need to be concerned?
Look, I think they need to be concerned because ISIS remains a persistent threat. By the way, so does the Iranian threat. All those Shiite militias that are operating in places like Syria and Iraq, those are still too close for comfort as far as I'm concerned to U.S. bases. But I think those bases are well protected. It's when you see them, when you see personnel leaving those bases and going out in the open, I think that's where the real threat can be seen. And that's obviously how we saw, 3 Americans killed in the line of duty just a few days ago.
Secretary Hegseth is calling this a declaration of vengeance, not a declaration of war. Are we splitting hairs here? What is the difference?
Well, I think the question is whether the United States is committed to some kind of long-term campaign in Syria or in the Middle East. And that, of course, is something that the United States government, this administration in particular, is loath to do. You don't see a Pentagon looking to mount a new large-scale campaign. This goes against the sort of America First, MAGA foreign policy principles that Donald Trump has been hammering home both in his first term and his second. So I don't see a big war breaking out. But I would say this, if ISIS continues to carry out attacks, we're going to have very little choice but to respond. And again, I'm concerned really about that global presence of the Islamic State. You know, it wasn't too long ago that we declared ISIS completely defeated, and now we see them attacking or trying to attack us here at home in the United States, Poland, Canada, Australia, and of course, still in the Middle East. There's a significant presence in Africa. I'm looking at a resurgent jihadi group. That concerns me because, we want, I think everybody would like to put that so-called war on terror in the rear view. I think the facts are showing a very different problem, and at some point, we may have to come to terms with that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.